I listen to the interviews they do. They don't even disclose what they eat. Like, you have to eat the rice and stuff. And I'm sponsored by this gel company.
Well, yeah, and they'll then disclose the kind of beef jerky company that are sponsoring them. The high fat, high protein.
But it's hilarious, man. Like, they all eat high carb.
Yeah.
There's pictures like Tim Olsen that drinking like Mountain Dew and Coke and shit. Like,
well, that's it. Yeah, they think. Yeah, but I think they've fooled themselves into thinking that they're still.
Yeah, it's just like me saying I'm EPO free. But before a big race, I still hard cycle with EPO, and like it's just.
All right, so you guys are both endurance athletes.
For sure.
Give us an example of a recent feat of endurance you have each done.
Wow.
Sub 15 5K is pretty impressive.
Yeah. So that kind of faster stuff I've been doing recently. Been placing well in all the kind of Welsh championships. I'm a Welsh trail runner, representing my country. So I think that's a pretty good example there.
Give us a date and a distance.
A date and a distance. Well, the British Trail Running Championships. So I came 17th in that, and it was my first year really racing the trails in the UK, and it's a lot competitive and a lot to learn. So that's why I've come out this year.
How long was that?
I think it's 12-kilometre course, so about 700 metres of ascent. So nice and fast and flat, well, fast and hilly.
With an elite field as well.
Yeah.
Oh, sorry, Harry, give us an introduction. I'm Harry, Harry Runs.
Yeah, I'm Harry from Harry Runs. That's my YouTube channel, so check it out.
And Harley, introduction and a date and a distance for endurance.
My name's Harley, aka Durianrider. My name's Harley, aka Durianrider. My channel's Durianrider. And cycling wise, I did a 594-kilometre ride in March this year. I was aiming for 600 Ks in under 24 hours, but I got a flat tire in the last 30 minutes. So even though my ride was over 600 Ks, I didn't make the 24-hour cutoff. But I also did that ride with no stimulants at all, no caffeine, nothing. So the reason why I did it with no stimulants, when you use stimulants, it's easy to ride 600 Ks in 24 hours. But I want to do it no stims, no caffeine, nothing, just to play mind games with myself and really feel the fatigue versus mask it.
Oh, really?
So that's my latest epic ride.
Are you getting all these excuses? Sorry.
Can I do another one, Sean? Make it a bit more smoother for mine.
Absolutely.
Okay, so a recent feat of endurance for myself was the V3K. So
sorry, you could start with your introduction and go right into it.
Man. Sweet. Ready? Cool. I'm Harry. Oh, God. Stop thinking about it.
This angle looks great. This is great.
I'm Harry from Harry Runs on YouTube. So a recent kind of feat of endurance for myself was a vegan 3000s sky running race in the UK. So this is across the whole of Snowdonia. You run across all the 3,000 foot peaks in the race, and it's also promoting veganism as well. But I came 9th in that race, and again it was 55 kilometers and 4,000 meters of ascent in one day. So I did all that just on carbohydrates, high carb diet, and obviously just gels and bananas throughout the day. So really simple eating, really effective for performance.
Harley, you want to do another one?
I'm good.
Okay, all right, so the question everyone wants to know for endurance, high carb or low carb? What's your opinion? What do you do? What do you recommend? What do you see other people doing?
Simple answer is definitely high carb. If you look at all the greatest runners around, we were just talking about the Kenyan runners, they're the fastest runners in the world, there's no doubt in that, and there's no doubt in what they eat. They all eat a lot of corn, a lot of starches, a lot of high carbohydrate, and a lot of low fat as well. So, well, not a lot of low fat. So it's nice and simple eating and effective performance.
Harry's a sub 15 5K runner. Every sub 15 5K runner I know eats high carb diet. No question about that. No question at all. The world's fastest runners on the best drugs, EPO, etc., blood doping, oxygen vector doping, they all eat a high carbohydrate diet. The world's slowest runners eat a high fat diet. And you'll find them, they're the last of every race I ever do. I'd interview them, I'd talk to them and say, hey, well, I talk about diet, because they're walking, they're not even running. They're walking in the running race, and it's good they're out there. But I interview these people, I talk with them, and 100% of the time, the last people are the low carbers, because they're so fatigued. They can't even run properly. And people say, oh, there's some high fat runners out there. They're not. There's these ultra runners like Tim Olsen and that. They're sponsored by like First Endurance, which is like a refined sugar gel company. And you see photos of Tim just guzzling back gels or drinking Coke or Mountain Dew or Cliff Bars. I'm like, come on, man. That's like me saying I don't do EPO except a month out of the competition, then I'll do it. You know, it's like you either do high carb or you don't do it. If you do high fat or you don't. So Tim, he relies on carbohydrates for performance, just like we all do, and everyone else does. Anyone who says they're high fat runner, I challenge you, $50,000 to beat one of my hard carb runners in a marathon. And the only condition is, you can use as much EPO as you want. The only condition is the week before the race, we lock you down and we monitor you what you eat, everything you eat. So there's no cheating. There's no carbs getting snuck in. $50,000. Who's going to be first?
Sounds fair.
Who's going to be first? No one's going to do it. I put this challenge out last year. No one took it up. If someone offered me $50,000 to run a fucking marathon, I'd fucking do it tomorrow.
All right, so we want to know then, people know macros. So what would be the macros you recommend, like percentage of calories from carbs or fats for best athletic performance? And like, can you give us an example of a staple meal that you eat?
Yeah, so for myself, I usually, without focusing about it just naturally, over time you kind of develop the diet, and it's definitely around 80% carbohydrates, if not more. And that's just through simple eating, just eating lots of fruit, lots of potatoes, lots of sweet potatoes. Back in the UK, a simple meal for me, which is just so nice and enjoyable, just be a whole plate, just full of sweet potatoes, just broccoli, peas, some nice vegetables on there as well. But just something like that's just full of nutrients, full of goodness and vitamins, but just full of sugar. It's just so sweet and just feels good, tastes good, and you're just ready to go after it and train day in, day out. There's no disputing that it's the most effective thing for performance.
Yeah, sounds good. Makes me hungry.
You agree? Like, again, your macros and like
my
a
macros,
sample meal?
Same as Harry. Another way for me to put it would be 750-50. So I aim for about 700 grams of carbs per day, and under 50 grams of fat, and under 50 grams of protein. The reason why I eat low protein, low fat is because my main sport is cycling, a little bit of running, and it's all about excess body weight, you're going slower. So there's no point in me having a $10,000 bike if I'm carrying a few extra kilos. Might as well ride a $1,000 bike. So I keep my protein and fat intake low. If I'm getting too underweight though, I'll bring it back up. How do I know if I get too underweight? I get too many troll hater comments on YouTube. So now I go out and smash in some more fried vegan food. Eat more fat if you want to gain more fat. Same with protein, eat more if you want to gain more.
Do you guys ever indulge or see yourself eating higher fat for a certain period of time? And if you do, what kind of fats would you eat? Is that like off season?
Me, myself, to be honest, like fat now just doesn't, let's say maybe I'll have more of a high kind of fatty kind of fried meal, but that's purely because I'm after something with rice, after something with vegetables, and it just happens to be prepared with the oil at the time. High fat foods just don't really interest me too much these days. Maybe now and again I'll indulge in something like an avocado chocolate mousse or something like that, but that's very rare myself. Or maybe a vegan cake now and again, but primarily just happy enough on the high carbohydrates. Just keep it simple and feel good with it, enjoy it.
Because when you run as fast as Harry does, every gram counts.
Yeah, you don't want to waste time
Every gram
down
of weight
something that's going to slow you down. Yeah.
Do you see food purely as like fuel, or do you have like, emotional connection to food? Do you have like cravings, or do you see food just as like fuel for your running, for your lifestyle?
I definitely feel like there's points where I'm really focusing on a goal, a race goal, or time, whatever it is. I definitely see food in a certain light as fuel and as the concentrated source to what I'm trying to achieve. Because if you eat right and you take care of yourself, what you can achieve is endless. So definitely, if you're keeping yourself high carbohydrate diet, that definitely comes into play. But so I definitely have some kind of emotional attachment with food in those circumstances. But I mean, day to day, once you get yourself into a rhythm, once you get yourself into habit and routine, and you're just enjoying what you eat every day. If you eat like this, if you're eating your fruit and you're eating your sweet things, you're never kind of denying yourself of what you really want to eat, because you're always enjoying it and you always feel good for it, and your body responds to that as well as your brain does. So it just becomes second nature. You don't think about it.
Ditto.
Nice. I don't know, any other final closing thoughts about fuel, athleticism, moving your body, maybe a tip for a beginner, any kind of closing thoughts?
Running barefoot.
Running barefoot?
Running, like, trying to become a fast runner, just doing barefoot running.
as in it's bad or like,
Yeah,
not
no,
effective?
like no one, it's just too much
Okay.
impact. But there's a lot of noobs out there who say, oh,
Yeah,
like, you know, like, no, you gotta like get rid of your shoes, you run faster.
Yeah,
You won't get injured if you don't wear shoes.
Yeah.
All right,
You can only get injured if you wear shoes.
how about this? So
It lasts about a month.
maybe we can do a separate one about that. But this one, let's say someone's eating a standard American diet or a standard Australian diet. They're a runner. They want to get faster. So what's the one tip that you would give? Someone eating a standard American diet just wants to make one small tweak. What would it be?
Yeah, so if you're a runner and you're eating a standard American diet, so obviously that's a lot of high fat, high protein. Just one simple tip: if you want to get faster, you want to be a better runner, just eat more carbohydrates. Simple as that. So, you know, if you focus on really putting your attention into carbohydrate foods, so more, you know, potatoes, rice, more fruits, then naturally you'll start eating less fat as it is, because you'll be more fuller on those foods, and you start to feel better when you eat those foods, and you'll have more energy and more enthusiasm. And with that, your body weight will cut down and the speed will come. You know, that's a major thing in running or cycling or anything, is obviously the smaller guy you are, the less weight you've got to carry up that mountain or along that road, the faster you're going to go. So just focus on the carbohydrates and it'll all come in time.
All the people I know have halved their body weight, all did it from high carb, low fat, low protein. So if you're eating a standard Aussie diet, even, I know elite runners in Australia who eat a standard Aussie diet and they have eating disorders. They have to calorie restrict so hard because their coaches are going, have some whey protein. So they have the whey protein, then they're like puffing out, their legs are getting swole, and they're just going, well, I've got to eat less then. I'm eating the right foods, but I've got to eat less then. So then they develop eating disorders. And I see this in so many runners. We even have like Benita Johnson, the fastest, I think she's the fastest female marathoner in Australian history. Now she's like, she doesn't look like she's a runner. Even though she's like a 2:28 or something, she's fucking fast as, man. And she used to be really lean, and then she popped out because the foods that the AIS, Australian Institute of Sport, recommend, the nutritionists at AIS is shit. We wouldn't have a fucking clue. Most of them are out of shape anyway. So then they're giving advice to these runners who are trying to be like as lean as Harry, but eating bodybuilder foods. So it's just corporate industry giving bad advice to athletes who are just puppeted by various sporting foundations to make money off and sell tickets at stadiums, etc. No one really gives a fuck about the runners later on. So like, you make your money for us. If you get injured, we'll fuck you off and get someone else coming in. Bye-bye, see you later. Yeah. So it's pretty cutthroat. So I'm more for the runners than I am for the industry now. And I see a lot of runners just getting fucked over. They're getting pushed with drugs and all sorts. They get caught and then people just ditch them off. They're like racehorses effectively. Except racehorses get shot if they break a leg. If you break a leg as a runner, they just end your contract. So that's my tip, yeah, high carb, low fat, low protein if you want to run.
That's it. And if you're a runner, and obviously if you're a runner, you probably do it because you enjoy running, and you want to be running for the whole of your life. You don't want to just be running to get fast for a certain race, but as Carly said, by, you know, calorie restricting or something like that. It's obviously going to lead to injury, and you're just going to puff out later on in life. You want to be running for the whole of your life. You want to be enjoying your life. So get the right foods in, and you'll just be able to keep going for a lot longer than anyone else who's doing otherwise.
Yeah, longevity is important. Because what's the point of running fast? What's the point of running fast 10 years ago if today you look like a fucking couch potato? It's like, what the fuck? You're only as good as your last race.
It's true.
Nice.